Even though I'm Jewish, I do enjoy Christmas. I think it's just, something about all the lights and it's pretty, and it's also a really good time of year to express gratitude. So before we start today's class and start moving around, I'd like everybody to think about something they're grateful for this year. I know it seems like a hard year to be grateful for something, but even though it's been so tough, I'm grateful that I'm now doing classes like this because of the quarantine and coronavirus. It's really pushed me to explore different areas of my creativity, and I have done so many crafts at home. So think about something you're grateful for this year, maybe something that you gave yourself this year, whether it was some kindness or understanding or patience with yourself this year, or maybe a little push. And let's think about that item of gratitude while we go through our movements today and see if that brings something new to our practice. And we're going to focus mostly on lower body kind of mobility today. We did a lot of kind of upper lower. Yesterday was a lot of upper shoulder stuff, so we're going to see if we can kind of unwind that lower half. And I have my coffee with me today because it's Christmas Eve and I just want to be a little bit extra cozy, okay? So let's start laying up, face up on our backs. And we're just going to do, before we do anything, our big stretch like you just woke up in the morning, and you're going to stretch your arms and legs as far as they can go and relax. And then let's bring both our knees into our chest, and we're just going to hug them into the chest first for a quick moment. Feel the pelvis settling. Find that nice alignment. And then we're going to release one of our legs down to the ground. Let's keep that other one tucked into the chest. And since I have my right leg, I'm going to take my left arm and hook it underneath my right knee. So I've got it going across the body. Roll out that other arm, both shoulders resting on the floor. Big deep breath in, and then exhale, and let's pull that knee down to the side. You want to keep both shoulders on the ground while we do this. If you'd like an extra stretch through this, go ahead, extend your leg out to get a stretch along that hamstring. Turn and look towards your open palm on the floor for that full twist. And if you're extending your leg, you're going to bend that knee, pull the knee up to the shoulder, and then we're going to roll it back onto our back. And we'll take both knees in again, give them a nice hug, find our realignment for our hips, and then we're going to release that other leg down to the floor. Hook under that knee. Release the arm, let it roll out. And then we're going to pull that knee down, across. So definitely this side's a little different from my other. If you extended your leg on the other side, go ahead, extend the leg on this side. Get that hamstring stretch. Nice deep breath. See if you can let things just relax a little bit more when you exhale. And then if you're extending your leg, bend the leg. You're going to pull the knee up to the shoulders and back to the middle. Hug both those knees into your chest and realign. And you can extend that first leg again. And we're just going to roll all the way onto our side, shoulders and all. Hook your top leg with your bottom arm. So the shoulder that's on the floor is going to grab that top knee. You're going to hold that knee down to the floor. And with our top arm, it's like you're pulling. You have a bow and arrow, and you're going to pull your bowstring all the way back, keeping the knee on the ground. And our goal is to get our shoulder all the way to the ground, keeping the knee on the floor. So we're just taking an opposite approach, and what this does, so in our first twist, and I'm just going to reach forward and reach back again, we started in the middle and kept our shoulders on the ground and pulled the hips over, so we're focusing on the lower back there. Here, since we already started on our side, hips flexed, and we're moving our shoulder, we're focusing this in the upper spine. So even though these first two stretches look very similar, they're actually going to target a different area of the spine depending on how you sequence them. So these kinds of things actually matter sometimes, the order. Come back to your side, extend both your legs out straight, and then you're going to bend the top leg, and we can reach around. We're going to grab that ankle, pull that leg back, squeeze your butt, and we're trying to stretch and open this quad front of the hip. So you want to feel your stretch all the way down there. Squeeze your knees down together and pull that knee back. Big quad stretch. If you want a little pillow, you can just take your arm up there and rest on it. Nice deep breath. See if you can push into your hand and kick your foot away from your butt, and then exhale, relax, pull it back a little further. And you can gently release that leg. Let's roll all the way over onto the other side now. We're gonna have that top leg up. Remember, we have our legs starting. We're starting on our side with our leg flexed. Hook the lower arm. And now we're gonna take that bowstring and pull it back. Like we're getting ready to shoot our arrow. But then we relax and let that shoulder come down to the floor. I like to imagine I'm breathing into a balloon in my armpit when I'm in this stretch. I inflate the balloon from my armpit, and then when I exhale, I relax and let that armpit just fall down towards the ground, and it helps me settle into that stretch. So let's give that a try. Imagine you have a balloon in your armpit, and I want you to inflate the balloon as you inhale. Now exhale, let that shoulder fall to the ground. Try it again. Armpit balloon, inflate. And exhale, deflate. Let's see if we can pull our bow and arrow back one more time. Grab that bowstring. Pull it back. Nice. Right to the floor. And bring it back around so you're all the way on your side. Extend both your legs straight. You want to make that arm pillow for your head so you're not awkwardly relaxing on the floor. Bend your top leg. We're going to grab that ankle or that foot. Squeeze your butt. We're going to stretch the quad, the front of the thigh. And I like to alternate just like how we had our balloon that we inhaled and exhaled, relaxed. I'm going to inhale, and it's almost like I'm trying to kick myself out of my hand. Push against your hand, kick, squeeze, squeeze as you breathe in. And then exhale, relax all the muscles. See if you can pull that quad stretch a little deeper. And this is using a concept called contract and relax. So if you're ever doing a stretch and you reach your first sticking point, go ahead, release that. We're going to roll around to our belly. So if you are ever doing a stretch and you find that, let's just say I was stretching my shoulder. Stretch my shoulder, and my first point of resistance hits, and I'm like, oh, this is as far as I can get in the stretch. I can use contract or relax. I can squeeze, and I actually push the opposite direction I'm trying to stretch. So I'm trying to pull it this way, so I'm going to push this way. Push, 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 and then when I relax, because I contracted my muscle, when I relax, I'm able to take it past that first sticking point. It's kind of a way of tricking your muscle. Your muscle has these, basically it has receptors that when you start pulling on it, it goes, oh my gosh, we're going to get pulled. We might get stretched too tight. So it halts the stretch. By pausing, contracting, and then relaxing, you can override that initial resistance, and you can actually gain a little bit more of your true flexibility, something that you already were able to do, but you were inhibited by those receptors. So a little bit of science there. So we did our quad stretch. Let's come over to our knees, and we're gonna do hands down on the ground for our first kneeling cat-cow. Get into our flexion and extension of our spine. Inhale, this is our flexion, and then exhale, this cow is our extension. So flexed spine, extended spine. Let's do one more big cat-cow. Inhale, and exhale. And then neutral spine, both hands down. We're gonna do our kneeling T-spine rotation. So hand on the back of the head. I bring my elbows together and I'm gonna open up. And just like our open book that we just did on the floor, right? I'm getting rotation through the upper portions of my spine, my rib cage area. And by having my legs flexed, my hips flexed, right here, you see I have a flexed hip. This is actually going to keep my lumbar spine locked. So I'm not going to rotate through my lumbar spine. I'm isolating this in just my upper back. If my legs were straight, I would be able to rotate through my lumbar spine. So anytime you want to isolate your upper back, open book, or here in your kneeling T-spine rotation, if your hips are flexed, you're going to isolate. Let's bring that hand down. We're going to do on the other side now. Elbow to elbow, open up, look up at the ceiling. Nice big inhale. Think about your armpit balloon when you're opening up. Same thing. Inhale. Inflate that area right up in here. You've got all these muscles in between every single rib, and they all stretch and expand, and we can wake those up when we forcefully inhale and reach. Bring that hand back down. So just a quick little demonstration here. So when we talk about kind of neutral spine, flexed spine, extended spine, typically when we're sitting at our computer posture, driving, we have more of that forward flexed spine. So go ahead, take that forward flexed spine, and with that, just note as we turn to the left, keep your forward flexion. How far can I turn to the left? How far can I turn to the right while I remain in this forward flexion, right? So this is our flexion plus rotation. Now, let's take that up, elevate, come into a neutral spine, and try the same T-spine rotation again. Turn to the left, and turn to the right. And what you're going to find here is with that neutral spine, you have a much broader range of motion. So this is just something to keep in mind as you're doing your yoga and your stretches, to approach your stretches with a neutral spine. Be aware when you're getting into that forward flexion, we have a tendency to make a habit of being in forward flexion because that's how we spend a lot of our time. All right, take it down, hands to the mat. Yesterday we discussed a lot about distributing the weight on the hand through the whole hand. Let's go ahead and find that place on our hands now. Kind of wobble your way around back and forward. And find a place where you don't have all your weight in just the heel of the palm, but you're able to feel it in the bridge and in the fingertips. We're going to dig in our toes and send it up and back into our downward dog. Straightening out the legs, if you'd like to walk them out, to work those heels to the ground. Take a nice deep breath in, and we're going to elevate one leg, reaching it up. Three-legged dog. Keep your hips level. Watch that toe. If you notice your toes turning out, your hips are turning out. So that back set of toes should be pointed straight at the ground. Let's bring that knee into the chest. Come forward. planting our foot in between our hands for our low lunge. And if you can only get it here, it's fine to use your hand to move it up. I'm looking for a right angle on my forward leg. And I'm going to open up. I have my left leg forward, so I'm going to open up that same side, my left arm, for a big GSA, which is short for greatest stretch alive. You can also call this low lunge with rotation. Let's drop our back knee. We're going to continue to reach for that back leg. And if you have the flexibility, so if you start to feel this in your hamstrings, your calves, or your foot, you can lay the foot back down. But if you can, let's lift that foot up. You're going to hold on to the toes. Something like a yoga strap is also suitable in this position to help you hold on to that. As you get more comfortable with this pose, you can absolutely be taking that foot in a little bit closer. We just want to watch that we're maintaining our front 90-90. Exhale, release that leg. We're going to take our hand all the way back around and dig in our back toe, lift up the hips. We're going to send it up and back into our three-legged dog. So lift that foot, and instead of pausing in downward dog, all the way back up, three-legged dog. And now you can point your toe, open your hip, show your crotch to the sky, and if you'd like to, go ahead, give your butt a couple kicks and stretch out that quad. Here we are in this wild thing. And go ahead, close the hip. Let's return both legs down and walk it out. Return to your neutral downward dog. Let's do the other side, sending my right leg up now, three-legged dog. Hips are level. And bring that knee into the chest, and foot goes between the hands at the top of the mat. We're going to open up in our rotation, GSA. And then drop that back leg down. Give a reach for that back foot. And if you can, lift it up and pull it in. Nice deep breath. See if you can try your contract release here, where you inhale, tense the muscles in your body, and exhale, relax. Release that hand. Let's bring it back around. Planting it next to the foot, lifting up the back toe. Send it up and back into our downward dog. Three-legged dog. I said it wrong even though I tried not to. And point your toe, show your crotch to the sky gods, and kick your butt. If that is not a metaphor for 2020, I don't know what is. Close the hip, bring the foot back down, return to your downward dog, and walk out those heels. Let's come up onto our tippy toes, curl your toes under, and stretch the top of the foot down to the knees, and then we're going to push back up, stretching the foot, pushing it down into the ground. Oh, I'm getting all my knuckles to pop. And back down, knees to the floor. One more time, we're going to go all the way back up into our downward dog. Inhale, and toes under, downward dog. And with that, let's take tiny little steps, straight legs, to walk it up to our forward fold. Big toes together, just a little bit of space between the heels. Grab onto your elbows, sway side to side, loose head, loose shoulders. And then let's bring our hands to our shins, breathe in and look up. Exhale, roll it back down. We're going to roll it all the way up. Big inhale, arms circle. And we're going to sink ourselves down as low as we can. Keep those feet together. It's okay if you fall on your butt, because the goal is to work our way down to our butt anyway. So now that you're on the floor, we're going to turn and make a 90-90 with our hip. So I'm looking for, the 90-90 refers to a 90-degree right angle in each leg. So I'm looking at my thigh bone and my shin bone, and at the knee I should see a right angle in each one. And then slide, make sure you've got your knee touching the heel of the other foot while maintaining your 90-90. All right, to increase the stretch of this 90-90, we're going to put our hands to the ground. We're going to keep walking into our leg. Push your knees down into the ground and squeeze your butt. Press those legs down. Lots of force. And you're going to spin back to the middle. Keep your feet super glued to your mat. Rock back onto the back side of your butt and roll it over. So my feet don't move, and by switching from one side of my hip to the other, see I've created my 90-90 on the other side. So a really good 90-90 or shin box, because two 90-degree angles, or four rather, because we have 1, 2, and then 3, 4 makes a box. So the 90-90s / shin box, the purpose here is not to move the feet at all, right? The feet are going to stay still, and by making sure that the feet are not shifting, sliding, moving, I'm getting all of this internal, external rotation happening in my hip, rather than my feet moving around and my hips not getting the benefit of that mobility. So with that, continue to twist, increase the stretch, push your knees down into the ground. You can't see it, but as I start to push my knees down, I feel my internal hip area here that's lighting up, getting that stretch. Push and relax. Keep those heels super glued down. I'm going to roll it over to the side. This time, one hand back. I like to point my toes, and then I'm going to reach up and then press my hips up. I'm propping myself up on my back hand. I like to think of this is like my dancer stretch, like if I was some kind of, what do they call it? Not free form, but interpretive dancer, right? This is kind of like your big expressive moment. You don't want to hold back and kind of get stuck on the floor. Think of this like, you're just like exploding out from your hips and your chest, and you're getting a big stretch. You're trying to make it as big as possible, expressive as possible. Bring it back down. Keep the feet super glued to the mat and express. Let's do 3 more. Heels stay super glued. Big expression and inhale. And expression. Last one. Big reach. And bring it back down. Let's go to the middle, and then we're going to extend our legs out into a straddle. Go ahead, let those legs be floppy. I'm going to have a sip of my coffee. Is everyone still thinking about what they're grateful for? And we can always be grateful for our bodies and our health. And your body, that is really something. It's kind of the one thing you can't have taken away from you. You can have aspects of it taken away from you, but it is always yours. So, how are those floppy legs going? Internal, external rotation. Let's draw ourselves up tall. Feel those sit bones post down into the floor. We're going to inhale, reach up with those palms facing each other. I'm going to turn so my chest is facing my right leg, and I'm just going to lay myself down towards my right leg so that my chest is centered over my right leg. You can hold onto your calf, your ankle, your heel. Just anchor yourself. Relax your head and breathe. Let those shoulders stay low. I want to feel this in my legs, maybe even the side of my trunk. Now I'm over my right leg, so I'm gonna take my right arm and prop it up right over my thigh on my knee. And then I'm gonna take this left arm and I'm gonna open up towards the ceiling. So now I'm taking this stretch a little bit higher up along the sides of the backs and the lats. And you can even reach over towards that leg and change your angle, open up towards the ceiling. See how these different angles suit you. I'm going to increase the stretch a little bit more. Instead of resting your lower arm, think about reaching it forward as you reach your arm over. And pull that arm through. Let's take it back square to that leg. And let's stay nice and low now. We're going to walk our hands on the floor across our center line. And we're going to take it over to the left leg, center of the chest. And this is where we're just going to relax. You're letting your shoulders stay low, just feeling this in the leg, the back of the knee, the inner thigh. I'm on my left side, so I'm going to take my left arm, prop it up just above my knee, and then open up my right arm to the ceiling. And this is where we can explore angles, reaching forward and open. See where your stretch is most needed for this particular one. Different angles are always a good idea. They give us perspective. They give us a full picture. Whether that's a picture of flexibility and you want a more complete picture of flexibility, or it's a situation. We want to go ahead and get a different angle, a different look. Take that arm, if you want to reach your lower arm forward again as you reach the top arm up and over, and really reach. Make this like a pull, like you're being pulled in two different directions. And you can relax it down, pull that arm back through, chest to the leg, and relax. And staying low again, let's walk ourselves to the middle of our straddle and see if we can keep our back straight as we pull our chest down. And I almost like to feel like I'm trying to pull my toes out and point. Like I want my kneecaps to spin out away from me as I roll in, rather than kneecaps roll in. So really focus on pointing your toes and rolling your knees out as you come low as you can and relaxing down. And that can be up here, that can be on your elbows, that could be all the way on the floor. I want you to take your straddle to your appropriate position. This is not supposed to hurt, and it has taken a lot of work for me to even get here, which honestly I owe a lot to. Teaching these classes has kept me very honest on my flexibility routine, more than I ever have been. Gratitude. When you feel like you've had enough, which I have, let's walk our hands nice and slow back up to pull your legs in. Since they've been stretched out, we're going to reach under our knees, pull your knees in, and bring them into the middle. We're going to turn to the side now so you have a little bit more room on your mat. Extend those legs out straight and together. Pull those toes back towards the face. We're going to go through our tall seated hip work. Inhale, reach tall. And exhale, I want you to hinge from the hip. It's like you have a string in your lower belly pulling you down. You can relax your hands on your calves, your ankles. Relax your shoulders down. And tilt your pelvis forward. Or this is like another opportunity where the open your butt works. You're trying to kind of open your butt as you hinge forward. Exhale, let's slide it back. We're going to slide one leg into the hip and let it fall open. So we've got our one leg nice and straight. Make sure that toe is still pointing straight up. Has a tendency to spin out. Inhale, sit tall. And same feeling, let's let that string in our lower belly pull us down. Straight back, low shoulders. Deep breath. This is active. We're pulling our toes back to our face. And exhale, slide it on back. We're going to take it to the figure four, keeping the leg crossed. We're going to help it up and across the other leg. And before I forward fold, I'm going to push, and I like to push, or I want you to push, on your inner thigh, not on the knee joint. Let's push more towards the hip. We're trying to work our hips, so let's direct our force there. The other hand, you can take a hold of your foot and pull it into your face while you're pushing on that inner thigh to get a little bit more of that external rotation that we're looking for. Pull that other toe straight up. Don't let that foot roll out. Inhale, sit tall, and exhale, pull from that little belly string. And you can see I have way less forward fold when it comes to external rotation. That's normal. That's okay. Talked about changing angles. And also I'd like to share the idea and spread the idea here that being ultimately bendy and flexy and being able to pull yourself as deep as possible, that's not really the goal with our yoga or our stretching or our mobility work. We're not trying to wring ourselves out. We're trying to make ourselves move better and be stronger. There is such a thing as a rubber band that can get too stretched out and it's not usable anymore. So that's why I really emphasize active. We're talking about our contract release today. I want you to be able to tense and squeeze your muscles in these stretches. So let's take that leg all the way up and across the other leg, nice and straight. And we're going for a seated twist. So inhale, palms face each other. Exhale into that leg. You can put that elbow up onto that knee and hand places behind you. The goal here is to be as tall and twisted as possible. So every time I inhale, I almost imagine like I'm filling up my head with helium when I inhale, and it rises everything a little bit taller, and then I can exhale and turn and look and twist a little bit deeper into my stretch. We're going to gently release, exhale, untwist, help that leg up and over, slide it back with its front. Inhale, sit tall. We're going to take that forward fold. And let's do the other side. I'm going to slide my right foot into my hip and let it fall open. Nice straight leg in front. Inhale, sitting tall, reaching upwards, and use my belly string to pull me down into that forward fold. Low shoulders, active flexibility. Maybe a nice way to think about it is don't yank yourself into stretches, push yourself into stretches. Maybe we should just stop calling them stretches altogether. Slide the hand back, and we're going to take that leg up and over and push on the inner thigh, pulling that foot towards the face. So we're going to get that external rotation on that hip. Oh yeah. Inhale, sitting tall. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, contract. Exhale, relax. And slide our hands back. Let's take it to that seated twist. All the way up and over. Draw it up tall as can be. And exhale into that leg, placing the other behind. I'm inhaling, filling up my head with helium, and exhaling, relaxing a little deeper into the stretch. And I'm gonna exhale, gently unwind, hop that leg up and over. And before we come out of this, we're gonna take our one last forward fold with both our legs together. If you want to take a more relaxed approach here and fully relax, and let's exhale, slide it back. And I will say, let's see, we started these classes in March. I could not do a full forward fold like I am today, 7 months ago. So yeah, it works. Keep practicing it. I wasn't there, and I'm getting there. So practice makes progress. Last thing we're gonna do today is just some runner's lunge. We did a little bit of straddle, middle splits kind of stuff, so we're gonna practice doing a little bit more front end split stuff. So let's take it to the side with those legs, and I'd like to start us in a kneeling position. We're gonna take one leg forward, half kneeling, and then for our runner's lunge, we're gonna drive it forward, scooch your front foot forward so you've got your heel right under your knee there. Back foot nice and flat. Squeeze your butt and press your back leg into the ground. We're opening up this portion of the hip. We want to be tall here, not trying to hinge forward. That's going to take the stretch out of the front of the hip. And also watch your flexion. Remember, we talked about posture. So drive into that leg. I want to feel right here, open up. And then prop that toe under. We're going to push back from our front leg, stretch this opposite hamstring. Make sure those hips stay straight and pull that front toe back towards the face. That's really going to light up that hamstring even more. Nice deep breath. Push that front foot down into the ground. Now point the toe and pull that toe back towards the face of that front foot. And now we're going to take it through our full range. So we're going to take it back forward, press the hips into the ground, and push back, stretch that front hamstring, pull the toes back. And forward, toe down, and back. And two more, toe down, push, and back. Now last one, and depending how comfortable you feel with this stretch, what we're going to do is come forward, and I want you to slide that leg back. You're going to take it as far as you feel comfortable with this front stretch that we can keep our hips level. So it might look like this, it might still look like this, or it might be all the way out here. We're going to pull our shoulders and chest up, and just holding. I want you to push your legs down into the ground, and then exhale, relax. Like I always say, this should not hurt. I want it to feel good. It should feel like a good stretch. Pull that front foot back, and we're gonna switch knees. So take that knee back under, kneeling position, switch your forward leg. Find that place. Oh wow, the difference when I switch. Find the place where the knee is right over that heel, back foot pushes down into the ground. We're gonna drive forward first, stretching the front of the hip, push that back foot down into the ground. And then we're gonna take it back, Prop that toe back there underneath and pull your front foot back. Stretch our hamstring, keep those hips straight. Add a little bit of point and flex of your front foot. And we're going to take it forward and back now for 5. Squeeze. And back. And 2. And 3. 2 more. And last one. And this time, we're going to be forward, push that back leg down into the ground, and we're going to slide it back as far as we feel comfortable with our forward or front split. And hold, squeeze, press your legs down into the ground, and then relax. Make sure my hips are straight. Nice deep breath. Not in a hurtful place, in a good stretchy place. And slide that front leg back. And take it to a kneeling. And we're going to just take it rolling back onto our back. I don't know why I made that little sound. Let's grab our ankles, happy baby, and just hang out. Let your hips unwind. If you want to do a little wiggle dance down here, if you're interested in kicking out your legs, little ninja baby, maybe you want to rock side to side. Whatever feels good in this position, just let those hips play. Right? Just like babies. They let their hips play. Let's hold on to our kneecaps. Take those legs in some big, juicy circles. And slow down your circle. Switch direction. Nice. Finish how we started. Hug your knees into your chest. Think about your gratitude, your item of gratitude as you hug yourself. Send yourself a nice little thank you. And let's rock it. Up to seated. And now that you're seated up, you can give yourself a pat on your back. Thank yourself for showing up on the mat today. Thanks for learning with me this Christmas Eve. Thanks for stretching with me. And yeah, it was really good. Really good to be here. I'll see everybody next week. We're going to start January. We're going to be doing a little bit different. So I just want to let you know before I send out the emails. We're going to be doing, going forward, 2021, a little bit more of some shorter series, more informative classes. So maybe we'll still have some regular programming, 1 or 2 of just a casual class like this, where we just work out, mostly work out, but I'd also like to present some series where I can offer you a little more knowledge, where you can build off just a series of 3 or 4 classes working up towards one bigger movement, flow, concept, because I think the more power that you have in your own home to understand what you're doing with your body, the better time you're going to have with it. It is, like I said in the beginning, the body is, this is yours, right? It's like owning a car. And the more you know about how to fix and take care of your car, the longer you're going to have that car. So let's share our instruction manuals. Have a good Christmas, have a good New Year's, and I will see everybody in January.